Oh shit. Here we go again.
Welcome to the Hooch, where the only place more messed up than your hosts is the barracks on a Friday night or the VA. So get ready to stand by for your weekly dose of toilet humor and shenanigans from your fellow veterans, Coy Mack and Michael Grizzled Grunt Harris.
And welcome back, beautiful people. You got Coy Mack here and Michael Harris, who still believes he is a young PFC. Wait, where were you in 1999? What rank were you?
1999, I just made E5. I was sergeant.
Oh, you were sergeant. So he still believes he's a young buck sergeant of 23 trying to drink his way through to fame and the barracks. I don't think you can do that anymore, Michael. You're what, turning what this year?
I just turned 47 a couple
That's
weeks
right.
ago.
47 a couple weeks ago, and he still believes he's 19 years old.
I'm getting old. Yeah, man.
We're all getting old.
It was cool, man. When I was partying, man, I could hang with the best of them, man. The shots kept coming, shot, Mike, shot, and I just met all these people, and they were like, Mike, take a shot, Mike, take a shot. Next thing you know, I'm feeling good in the bar. Then when I got home, I was feeling good, and then I woke up the next morning and I wasn't good at all. I wasn't good.
No,
Then I went back to bed. I slept till 6 that evening. My phone's going off. People were calling me. Not that they're worried about me, but normal chatter. Text messages, TikTok messages, Messenger. People are calling me, and I'm ignoring the calls.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I was just hurting, man. I was looking rough.
I feel sick just looking. Yeah, I see that. That just makes me feel sick just thinking about what you just went through. Is like I can't do that anymore. I think the last time I got really fucked up was when I was getting divorced, and that alone was. And I wasn't even that old. I was 25, 26, something like that. I don't know. I'm still young. I'm 33, I think. Do you ever forget how old you are?
All the time.
It's like, how fucking old am I?
But I'm not ashamed of my age. You know what I mean? A lot of people get older and they're kind of ashamed of. I tell people straight up. I said I'm 47 years old. I'll be 50 soon. And they're like, "What?" Here, they was like, "Black don't crack. Black don't crack." I was like,
I'll say that to you all the time.
Yeah, I said I'm doing good. I don't have any gray hairs. I'm not balding. I'm still in pretty good
got
shape.
gray hairs in my beard.
Yep. I've never had a cavity. Never.
That's impressive.
No serious health problems. No serious health. The last time I had to go to the hospital was because I had low potassium. I don't know if you saw that when I posted it.
No, I didn't. You should eat more bananas.
Yeah, I blacked out at work, man.
Jeez.
That's when I worked for the CBD shop. So a customer walks in, and he was a regular, so I knew what he wanted already, and he knew me, so I'm glad he was there. He was like, "You reached over to get my product, and boom, you hit the ground." And he was like, I thought you was fucking with me. And so
right,
I got to wake up.
You were one of those died suddenly things all of a sudden, just like, dude.
Yeah. I wake up with EMTs sitting over me and they said, "Looks like you had a seizure." I'm like, "What? I don't have seizures." There's puke on my shirt. I was like, they would just shake. And so they was like, "Are you diabetic?" And I'll go, No. So they check my blood sugar, not diabetic. Go to the hospital. They do a lot of blood work. And they were like, "You have very low potassium, dangerously low." So I had to sit in the hospital for almost 3 days, man, pumping me full of potassium and fluids. Just pumping me. Then
they were doing straight like IV potassium in you too, just pushing
and
it through.
The thing is, now I know my potassium. I know when it's starting to get low. So I take the countermeasures. I buy, those high vegetable drinks with the avocado, the bananas.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
I buy those
and
I suck a lot of that down. And then I take cream of tartar. Cream of tartar is also another supplement for potassium.
I didn't know that. And that was something I did not know. So cream of tartar, you got to remember
cream
that.
of tartar. You can put it in food. You can put it in apple juice. You can put it in anything. So if you know your potassium is getting low, you start feeling dizzy, you start cramping a lot. That's just low potassium. And it's just good to take, man. Just every day you drink it.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't get enough nutrients in their system that they really should. I mean, I'm probably bad about that too. I try to take a multivitamin at least, but I can barely remember to take most of my pills that I need. Excuse me. So I don't know. It sucks getting older. Everything hurts, and especially if you've been an infantry guy, like all of your joints are fucked. Your back is fucked. Your hips are fucked. Your knees are fucked.
You know, as infantrymen, we're fucking beasts, man. While we're in, it just seems like everything hits you when you get out. Just boom, like
it's because
all the things you've done.
It's like that adrenaline dump, right? Like all of that was dumped for so long, and then as soon as you just stop, it's like now everything's catching up. Your body's catching up to what you did to it, and then it's just you can't. It's a young man's game, but it's so weird because you got to think of you're not emotionally mature for being in the infantry, but then the only way they can get these guys to do things that they need to do is they need to be fucking young and spry and like fearless, you know, cockstrong men of action, you know.
And the thing, you know, for us older guys, man, especially, you know, when I was in Afghanistan, I was at 18 years in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And I had to keep up with my dudes. You know, I couldn't just be that old man that was like, go ahead, you know, I'm gonna smoke me a cigarette. No, when they went up a mountain, I went up a mountain. When they were in a firefight, I was in a firefight. You know, so you're the old man out there calling the shots. But what it does as an infantryman, I can speak for, it keeps you kind of young, kind of mentally, because all your people are younger than you. So usually the people that you're hanging around with in your platoon, when you have platoon parties or your platoon leader, they're all way younger than you.
Yeah.
So it kind of keeps you young, if that makes sense, you know?
No, I get that. It's one of the things that I thought was really funny and weird about the military is how much it aged you as you go on and you go further. The guys that I thought were like so much older than me weren't actually that much older than I was, you know, at 19. And then like you had sergeants that were like 25, 26. And then, what was it? The master guns that I was under in S3, I think he was 38 or something like that. Or he was like, no, he was in his 40s. I think he was 42. I don't remember, but he looked so much older. Like the dude looked like he was like 50 plus. And I was like, man, he's an old man. And it's like, nah, he's still young. And I was like, shit, like he's about as like, he looked much older than you are right now at the same age kind of situation. And it's like, fuck, I died.
And you remember Denny, right? Rooster.
Yeah.
You know, him and I are the same age.
Really?
Yeah. And he looks a lot older
I can see
me.
it a little bit. Yeah, I can see it a little bit. Like, yeah, I think he's not that much like older looking. I think you guys are pretty close, like within a couple of years. Like, I would say that you're still in the same age group, but yeah, he definitely looks younger than what you guys are at. If he's older than you and you're 47, then he's closer to 50.
He's 47.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 47 also.
Okay, so you guys are the same age. But he just looks
once
2 years older.
Once he dyes his beard, he cleans up, you know.
Oh, he's the just for men type. Got it.
I think so.
Sorry, Denny. If you're listening, I love you. We'll have to get you back onto the show eventually. Yeah.
I mean, I knew fucking like staff sergeants that looked older than me when I was a platoon sergeant. Man, how old are you? I'm 29, sergeant. God dang.
Right. Do you ever have the old man of the platoon? Like he was like a, I guess for you guys it would be in the E4, but for us it was like Lance Corporals, E3s, right? So you had that old man that was like his 36 years old. He just joined for I don't know whatever fucking reason. We had a guy like that. Milton was his name. Old man Milton. You're missing teeth and all.
We had an old man Milton. We had an old man Milton in Kansas. He was an E4. He was older than most of his peers, way older. He was closer to my age when I was a staff sergeant. And old man Melton played the guitar. He passed away too.
That's sad.
Yeah, when I was a young private man, like my leadership, they were old as hell compared to what's going on now. Like,
well, that's because they have a retention problem.
I was a Bradley crewman. You know, that was my first duty station, was 3rd ID. So I started off as, you know, I worked my way up. So I started off as a radio operator, and then I was a saw gunner, and then they made me a Bradley driver, and then I went from Bradley driver to Bradley gunner. And when I was a gunner, my BC, the commander of the vehicle, his name was Sergeant Bradley. And
Bradley driving a Bradley. That's awesome.
That dude was old as shit. This motherfucker used to smoke fucking the menthol cigarettes, not Newports, the other ones.
Which ones were
I forget
those?
what they're called.
Man, I do like Newports. Like I smoked menthol cigarettes when I was in, like, all the time. That was my go-to. Like every time. The crushed Camels too. Those were sweet. There was another one, Marlboro, that they came out with one that was really good. Can't remember. It was almost like peppermint. Smoking that shit. It was good stuff. But yeah.
No, but he was old. So I'd be in the back of the Bradley. I mean, we had bench seats. So you pretty much got in where you can fit in, in there. The commander usually got the longer seat, and I was crunched up in the smaller seat. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and smell a cigarette in the back of the vehicle with live ammo. He just
no fucks given.
He'll hit me, be like, Harris, wake up. I'm like, what's up, Sergeant? He goes, make me some coffee. So he had this little propane thing, and we used to make coffee in the back of a vehicle with a flame.
I'm assuming that's a no-no. You're not supposed to do that.
And this was the same guy. And that's why he was cool, man. He was a cool ass freaking. He loved my ass. So I remember we were going to the field. We were going on a huge training event. So all of us went out to the bar and party. Again, we partied till 2, 3 in the morning. My ass fuck around and miss formation. Right.
So
he comes in my room. He goes, Harris, I know you partied last night, man. Just get your shit and go to the vehicle. Go straight to the vehicle. Don't talk to nobody. So I go straight to the vehicle. I'm in the turret. I'm fucking knocked out. So we're going, and I know we were driving because you could feel the vehicle.
Yeah.
He pops my hatch, and it's raining. He pops my hatch, and there's rain's coming down. I go, he goes, rise and shine, motherfucker. And he goes, you can't be partying like that, man. What the hell's wrong with you? I was like, no, Sergeant, fucking partied hard. So he's like, just get some of this rain, water on your face, get this cool air on you. You gotta fucking get yourself right. You have to, because once we park, people are gonna be talking to you and they're gonna be able to tell. So I need you to get your shit together. I got it together though. I was like, all right. So I was sitting out there taking the rain in and stuff, and Sergeant Bradley, I'll never forget that guy. He taught me everything about the 25 millimeter, chain gun. He taught me all that stuff.
It's always good to have good seniors. I think that's kind of the issue right now with the military, especially in the Marine Corps and the Army, is they're having the retention problem. They can't keep people in. And they always wonder why. It's like, it's such a mystery. Why does nobody want to stay in the military? It's like, have you seen the leadership, the people that get promoted? Everybody knows it's a problem, but nobody does anything about it. Like, we know what the problem is.
Yeah, when I was a platoon sergeant, man, I had a different approach with my leadership style, because I had just came off the trail, and then I got to my new platoon in Fort Bliss. So at first, I don't say nothing for 2 weeks, because it's kind of a right seat, left seat ride. So I'm with the other platoon sergeant who I'm taking over for. So he's still in charge. So I'm just kind of watching, and I'm taking notes on everybody, especially the NCOs. So all the team leaders, because it's the platoon sergeant's job to mentor team leaders. It's the first sergeant's job to mentor squad leaders. It's the sergeant major's job to mentor platoon sergeant. That's how it works. So my focus is mainly team leaders. So I'll be looking at all my team leaders, and I'll be taking notes. So they all thought, they saw the drill sergeant patch, and they thought I was going to come in like a drill sergeant. I didn't. So
there are those guys though.
Yeah, my platoon leader was cool as hell. Him and I got along really well. So I told him my focus, and he said, "What's your focus?" I said, "I want to build a family. I want our platoon to be so damn tight that no one can break that bond." And that's what I did. It's exactly what I did.
Yeah, so not some of that like bullshit, like corporate slogans type stuff.
Yeah, and I wasn't afraid to speak up for my guys either, man. I was that platoon sergeant E7 that would go the fuck off if my guys are getting fucked. I didn't care. I would say what the fuck is on my mind. And my first sergeant knew it. He'd be like, oh, shit. Sergeant Harris is coming down here, and he's pissed.
That's good.
Boom,
I mean,
boom, boom, boom. Hey, First Sergeant, why the fuck are we still here at 1800? What the fuck is going on? Calm down, Sergeant Harris. This is why. This is some bullshit. Yep, I was that guy, man.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the other things I think that makes it hard for retention is the fact that they're, especially in the infantry, right? They're promised, oh yeah, you can go to school while you're in. You can go take night classes or something like that. Fuck no, you can't. That is a lie. That is a big lie. The only people that get to go to that stuff are fucking pogues, dude.
We're going to allow you to go to school, but we're going to the field for a month.
Yeah, right.
And you got to figure that shit out on your own. God dang, well, why go to school if I got to leave for a month?
What's the point, right?
Yeah.
Or
they try to be hard and shit, but man, there's a way around everything.
That and then the whole wokeness in the military now. Like, I don't see why anybody would want to stay in. Like,
yeah, I got a bunch of friends that are sergeant majors now, man, and they talk about that stuff. And
they're just waiting to retire. They don't give a fuck at this point. They're just like, they're waiting for their 20 and then done.
They're young sergeant majors though, man, because I left in 2000. I got out in July 2016. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys that when I got out, we were all E7s. We were all drill sergeants together. Boom, they made E8. Shortly after that, they went to the Sergeant Major's Academy. So they're like maybe 18 years in, 19 years in still. Maybe 20. They could do 30 as a Sergeant Major.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So I was like, man, I kind of regret getting out. The only reason I got out is because, you know, my wife at the time she really wanted me to get out. So I was like, all right, you know, but I should have stayed.
I think that happens a lot. A lot of guys have that regret of wanting to go back in. There was a bunch of times that I wanted to go back in active, and I think that's why like going reserve was a really good opportunity for me to get out of that mindset. So like if there's a guy out there, if I would give him advice, that's what I would say. It's like, dude, if you want to get back into active duty, just go reserves for a little bit and see if that's actually what you want to do. Because like most of the time, it's probably not. It's not going to be it.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't go reserve is because I would have lost my pension.
Yeah, that's right. Because if you were already 20 in, then it wouldn't. You really don't need it.
Yeah, I was like, man,
unless you were like going to continue on,
and you would have lost your pension and disability. Both.
Yeah. You do lose it if you go back in.
That's over $3,000 that I love getting without working.
Hey man, you did your time, you did your service, and there's a lot of guys like that. That's also another thing that's really a big issue is like when guys get out and them not looking for help and seeking help when they need it. Especially if you're fucked up, dude, go get help, go get seen, get your disability for that. Because as time goes on, it's gonna get worse, and it's gonna make it where you're not gonna be able to work and you're not gonna be able to take care of your family. Like, don't do it for you, do it for your family. Yeah, and
it gets harder the longer you wait.
Yeah.
You know, so I have a lot of friends who are also getting ready to retire, and I'm like, man, they got like a year out. I'm like, dude, document everything. Go to sick call 2-3 times a week. You got a bad knee, keep going, keep going, keep going, just keep going. You got a bad neck or something, go. Don't, you know, as an infantryman, we were always told, and you can agree, suck it up, suck it up.
Suck it up. Are you a malingerer? Are you going to sick call just because you're malingering? You just want to get out? And it's like, no, I don't. I'm fucking hurt.
What's wrong with you? You're trying to get out the field?
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was a private, I know we're going to get on to the next segment. So I was a private, and I woke up with a really bad case of strep throat. But we were going to the field that morning. So I went to sick call, and my first sergeant thought I was bullshitting. So he was like, all right, Harris, go to sick call, get your medicine, but you're going to the field. So I was like, okay. I went to the field. I was laid out in a patrol base, shivering and shit, like shaking. My team leader comes up. He goes, Harris, what's wrong? I was like, Sergeant, I'm fucking cold. He goes, it's not cold out here. Gets the medic. The medic tells me to open my mouth, and he tells the first sergeant, he shouldn't have ever been out here. Mm-hmm. First sergeant actually apologized to me. He goes, man, I thought you were just another private trying to get out of shit. I said, no, first sergeant, I was really sick.
Yeah, that happens a lot. They
sent me back.
I get it.
Yeah, they sent me back to the base, and then the PA looked at it, and he was like, oh, shit. Like, it was all pussy, and I was just like, and I couldn't swallow, and he was like, 48 hours quarters. You're not going back to the
Go
field.
back
Here's
to
your
your bed.
medication. And then they all got back on the field. And first one was like, hey, Harris, let me talk to you real quick. I want to apologize, man. You were really sick. You weren't lying. You were fucked up. I was like, I could have died.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there's a lot of cases like that where like not being believed and then they ended up getting worse because of it. That's one of the many reasons why you have a retention problem in the military is you can't.
That's right.
It's toxic leadership. It's things like that. It's like you got to take care of your guys. Like if you want to have a mission ready platoon or squad or even a team, you have to like make sure you're keeping after your guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like know their personalities would probably be the biggest important deal. If you don't know your guys and you don't know if they're lying to you or not, like if you don't know anything about them, then how can you figure out if they are a malingerer or not if you never talk to the dude?
Well, that's the key to being a good leader is first, as a leader, you can't treat everyone the same. You have, like you said, you have to know their personality.
Yeah.
You got that hardcore infantryman that's like, go, 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 ooh, ooh, ooh. Then you got that kind of soft guy, he can still do what the other infantryman does.
Yeah.
But he's a little more emotional. And if you go at him hard, he reacts differently than the guy that's, a little more hard shelled.
Yeah.
So as a leader, then you learn your guys and then you look for patterns, man. Like if one of my guys got sick before a fucking field problem, I always ask myself, is this a pattern with this person? And if it's not a pattern, then I'm like, well, this has to be legit. One of my guys got hit by a fucking car, man, in El Paso, right?
Really?
No shit. He was out at the bar fucking partying. He crossed the street. Car hits him. Boom. Car takes off.
Obviously, it's obviously going to be.
You know what the chain of command did? We were going to NTC a couple of days later. You know what they did? They put him on a plane to NTC. So he's out there on crutches. He's out there crutching around in the desert. He's like crunching. And then I forget who comes up to him. It's like one of those agencies that look out for the welfare of individuals. He asks a soldier, he goes, why are you on crutches?
Well, it was in an IG agent or something like that, or
I think it was IG. Yeah, it was IG.
Okay,
an IG person, and he goes, "Why are you on crutches?" And my guy goes, "I got hit by a car a couple of days ago."
God, that's a bad way to get an IG report on you.
And he's like, "What?" The battalion commander's standing there. He was like, "I didn't know that." Bullshit.
Yeah,
that shit was on a blotter report. You knew. You had to know.
Yeah.
So they ended up sending him back. So I was over there helping him pack his bags. I had the rest of the platoon. I was like, hey, man, I didn't have no choice with you coming out here. I was trying to keep you back. He goes, I knew, Sergeant. I was like, I was
It's not me. It wasn't me, man.
So we put him on the bus and they took his ass back to Fort Bliss. But the dude got hit by a fucking car, bro.
Yeah, that's some toxic leadership, man. Like, dude gets hit by a car and still makes him fucking go train. Like, fuck a dog,
Mexican dude, E5. He was one of my team leaders. He was drunk as shit. That dude used to party hard, but I guess he crossed the street at the wrong time and got fucking mollywopped.
Oh man, those Mexican dudes, they'll go hardcore carrying shit. Like there was this one guy that I was in SOI with. He was like 5'1" nothing and turned into a machine gunner. And they were like, if you can't keep this 50 cal up, you're getting fucking dropped. And that motherfucker pushed it every time. He carried that and like his life depended on it.
For those of you that don't know what SOI is, School of the Infantry for the Marine. And for us Army guys, we go to Fort Benning. So our School of the it's a little different structured. So our School of the Infantry is the whole time. It's called OSUT. So from beginning to end, you're in infantry school. Marines, they all go through boot. They learn the basics about being a Marine, and then they go to their
individual schools.
MOS.
Yeah, they're MS schools. So you go to your individual schools. Like if you're going into comms, you go to the comms school. If you're going infantry, you go to SOI, and then so on and so forth. They just have everything split up like that. And most of the time, they're going to Army schools too. So like that's one of the reasons why is because they need to get boot camp done, and then they have to go to specialized schools, where they have to go to like Army bases, or they have to go to Army schools in order to finish those out. Like them getting rid of the tanks, right? Like they got rid of tanks in the Marine Corps, and yeah, you didn't know that? That was like a little bit.
No, I didn't.
A few months ago. Yeah, they axed all of the tanks in the Marine Corps, and they're looking at like because they wanted to bring it back into more amphibious assault, more like actual like marine stuff. But then they're gonna need that capability in order to be effective against like an invasion in the Pacific. So they still needed that shit, but now
that's why they call the big dogs the army.
Yeah, they're gonna get the army for that. Yeah, no, I get they want
army.
The whole idea behind it was they wanted a leaner, meaner Marine Corps, right? Is what they were trying to go for. But my personal opinion is I think they just ran out of fucking money. And they're like, we got to axe some places here. Do we really need tanks? And they just fucking cut the budget. That's probably what happened.
The Department of the Navy was like, screw your tanks.
Yeah, who needs your tanks? Just get it from the army.
Marines go to an Army tank school. Mm-hmm. Marines go to Army airborne school. What else? Yep. Ranger school.
They probably go to air assault too. I think I remember doing training packages for people in S3 going to air assault.
Yeah, I ran into the Marines, man, when I was in airborne school. Man, they were some cocky ass dudes, man. I was just like,
that's
man,
Marines for you though.
Fuck out of here, dude. Y'all motherfuckers can't even make this little 5-mile run. Shut the fuck out of here.
Who couldn't make a 5-mile run? God.
No, they had to do like the Army APFT.
Oh, you know what you probably got is, okay, so here's an issue in the Marine Corps is that you'll get pogues get put in for these schools because they fucking can, and then when the infantry actually needs the slots for those, they can't get them. It's because their buddies put them into these schools just so they can get their fucking like credentials up. Like, it's a fucking bullshit thing. At least that's what it was back in the day.
There was this female Marine that we were cool, man. Like, her and I were cool because she wasn't, trying to be all gung ho and shit. Her and I would just talk, And I remember we were doing a jump. It was our third or fourth jump. I was second man. I was the first man at the door at first. My jump master, my instructor, the jump master, told me to back up and put her first because she was behind me. She gets to the door, right? We hook up, check equipment, hook up. Stand by, we stand by. She gets to the door and freezes. He fucking Baghdad booted her ass out the fucking plane, like, boom, get
Oh, man.
She went flying out that goddamn door, man.
Okay,
that shit was funny as fuck.
Okay, so what's even funnier about that is, like, I don't know if you know this, but there is a derogatory term for a female Marine. If you guys don't know, if you do know, here's one. I'm not saying this to be offensive. I'm just telling you what it is. It's called a Wookiee. A female Marine is called a Wookiee. And so all I'm picturing in my head is like a female Marine, which is a Wookiee getting kicked out of a plane, going, she's fucking falling.
No, dude, because here's the thing. When you got the green light, you only have so much drop zone. You know what I mean? So when that green light comes on, you got to get your ass off that fucking plane. So she's at the door. She's ready. And she's fucking, she's standing there like this and green light, go. And she was like,
not jumping
green light, go. And she stood there. Jump master was like,
just kicked her ass out of the plane.
Her ass. And then my ass just smiled. I looked at him. I was like, now, boom, when I went out the plane. I wasn't scared, man. I wasn't scared to jump. Most of my jumps were freaking nighttime, though, man. Every jump's a night jump. That's the rule when you're a paratrooper.
My luck is I would jump.
Hold on, Coy. Why is every jump a night jump?
I don't know why.
Because your eyes are always closed when you jump out the plane.
No.
Every jump's a night jump.
Yeah. If I couldn't imagine that, I'd probably fuck up and break my legs on the first jump. Just go down.
Yeah, this master sergeant did. He burnt in. He had to pull his reserve, and he broke his damn femur.
Oof.
My first jump, I landed in the creek bed.
About it.
And they kept telling us, avoid the creek bed. Avoid. And where did my ass?
You were saying, you were thinking that, and then it just kept shifting over into the creek bed.
The wind kept blowing me, and I was looking down. I was like,
no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go.
And I run up with my freaking reserve and everything. And John Master was like, you hit the creek bed, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was a staff sergeant when I went. They were cool at, NCOs. They were like, you hit the creek bed, didn't you? I was like, yeah. I tried to avoid it, but it just wasn't working. They were like, get your ass over there. Put your fucking... Yeah.
That's rough.
Good times, man. Good times. Airborne school was a good time.
Military is one of those places, like, it's the best time and the worst times of your life. And it kind of continues on. Getting old sucks. Getting into debt sucks. Getting divorced sucks. Like you gotta get all of those things in order to be a real military service member, right? You gotta be divorced. You gotta be in debt, and then you have to have that one car that you paid 26% on.
And you have to have an illegitimate kid somewhere.
Yeah, at least one. At least maybe one. It's maybe one somewhere.
I go to Germany. I'm like, man, that boy motherfucker looks just like me. You gotta keep walking this way.
Yeah,
no,
mine
I
would
think
be
the
like
worst time for
Thailand.
Me, the worst time for me in the military was probably when I went to Special Forces selection. That was probably one of the hardest things I did.
I bet
it was hard, man, and you have to do it to understand like what you're putting your body through. But what you learn is that you're in control of what your body does. So if you're trying to psych yourself out saying you can't do it, your body's going to react. If you keep saying go, 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 man, and I had to keep telling myself that because people were quitting left and right. I was like, man, fuck that. I'm not quitting.
It's hard, like especially with like being infantry going into any of the specialized schools. Like you push yourself beyond what's humanly possible in most cases, but you still live and you keep going. It's what you got to do.
So a lot of people on TikTok talk shit, but they don't know what I've been through. They don't know what I've done. I'm a little more humble now. Me. But if you actually can go back in time and see all the shit I've done, you think twice about running your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
It's like, what do you do when you get old? And like you're an old fighter, you're an old warrior, and then you get old. Like it's a weird feeling. I think you remember all the badass shit you did and how badass you were, but now you're an old man teaching lessons to the younger generation, I guess.
You don't forget though.
Yeah.
You never forget what you was taught. I mean, I did that shit for almost 22 years. You think I forgot all that?
Nah.
I ain't forgot it all. Not at
there's
all.
Certain things. I think there's certain things you forget, but then other things that you'll always remember. Especially like, I always try to keep the idea of virtues and the things that we were taught of, like being a good person, being responsible for ourselves and keeping things going and being strong. I think those are good values that were instilled in us for sure. And like I think I am better off going in than I was not going in. That's why like I hate the fact that they're having such a retention problem, because it's a good avenue for a lot of people, especially to people that need it to get their shit straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I was happy to join, man. And I had got a scholarship. In high school, I got a scholarship to Cal State Long Beach. I went to college for a little bit, and I was like, this isn't for me, man. So I called my recruiter, and I was like, hey, I'm ready to go. And I dropped out of college without telling them I dropped out of college. I was already in basic training.
Just off. Michael was gone, and that was the end of that.
That was it, man. Then I went in and went to Fort Benning, Charlie 119, did my time. I almost quit because I was young. I was 19. I was in Georgia. I ain't never been to Georgia. I was getting yelled at, pushed, and all this other stuff, and I was getting mad. And I was almost like, fuck this. But
I think there's always a breaking point,
Yeah.
where you're like, it would just be easier if I broke my leg or something, just to get out. I'd be done. Just be done. But it's hard. It's a mentally hard place to be in, especially when you're young. It just brings it out of you.
Especially for combat arms, man. The information's coming in so fast. All you got to learn, the military traditions. You got to learn the rank structure. You got to learn the phonetic alphabet. You got to learn all these weapon systems, nomenclature, how fast they shoot, how far they shoot, the maximum effective range, the maximum range. And you're taking all this in, man. It's like just fast information coming in, and it's a lot to take in. And then you get to your first unit of assignment, and it's nothing like basic training. What the fuck did I go through all that for?
Well, units are where you actually learn what you're supposed to be doing. That's how it always goes. Like, you remember all this stuff you learned in like basic training in your school? Yeah, forget all that shit.
Yep, that's exactly how they do it. Only thing that I didn't forget was the Bradley stuff, because back then I was an 11 X-ray. 11 X-ray just meant they could put you in any.
Yeah, it was the open slot. Series. Like it's a 0311, like open is the same thing like we had too.
It's an open slot. So they made me the 11 Mike, which they don't have anymore, but it's mechanized infantry. So I learned about the Bradley and all this other shit, and that helped out because I knew about that when I got to my unit.
Yeah.
But what's so moving on? I know we've been talking about the military a long time.
No, it's
what's
good.
What's
It
going
definitely
on in
brings
the world?
back in the variety of what we were talking about. Well, since we're talking about mental health and everything, we have actually our friends, our canine friends. The kind of a story that people have slept on is the FDA naming 16 brands of dog food linked to canine heart disease. I didn't know that until I got my puppers recently, that this was an actual issue, and it's coming from grain-free dog foods. Let me get the list of brands coming up. So we've got brands ordered by the number of cases linked to them, which range from a high of 67 to 10. It's Acana, Signature, Taste of the Wild, 4Health, Earthborn Holistic, Blue Buffalo, Nature's Domain, From, with an extra M for some reason. Why would you name your fucking company? That's weird. Merrick, California Natural, Natural Balance, Origin, Nature's Variety, NutriSource, Nuturo, and Rachel Ray Nutrish. That's the other one. A lot of this is linked to, what do you say? It's the grain-free options, right? We were told that it's good for dogs to have the grain-free because it's like more protein-based and these things and less carbs and whatnot. Just like for humans, it's always better to have a less carb diet. But the problem is they started mixing it in as fillers with peas and legumes. How do you pronounce it? I always fuck that word up. I butcher it every fucking time. What peanuts are, like the word for it, legumes.
Oh, that's I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically all of that stuff that are in that kind of classification, they started using it as fillers in the dog food, which caused the heart disease in the animals. It's not good for them. You're not supposed to give your dog peas and legumes and things like that, which technically you're not supposed to give them peanut butter then, at least not like every fucking day, obviously.
But it's peanut butter all the time.
Yeah, I was doing that for
You didn't get it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just moving past that. We're not gonna talk about the forbidden peanut butter junk trick or whatever you want to say. It's like, ugh, it's weird. That was a conversation I had with my wife the other day about like I was looking something up. I can't remember what it was, and it popped up with like some sort of dildo thing. And it was weird. It wasn't one of those dragon ones. It was like a lizard. Was it a lizard dick or was it a dog dick? I don't remember. Anyway, it was one of those weird fucking things that people are into.
You might have to bleep out that word you said.
Dildo.
We're trying to get monetized, so we gotta.
I don't care. There's dildos everywhere. Dildo here, dildo there.
What's people on our Facebook channel love us?
We are an inclusive show, so we talk about dildos.
Exactly.
For everybody. Everybody loves dildo.
Guys, listen to the intro.
Shenanigans. We like shenanigans. Yeah. But anyway, so the point is that the dogs were dying because of the heart disease. And so now, that really upsets me because like I hate when corporations and companies just skirt rules and things like, oh, here's something I learned while doing all this research. Did you know they can call something beef flavored if they only have 3% of something? It doesn't actually have to be beef. It has to be something related to beef in order to call it beef flavored. Like all these word tricks that they put inside of these little descriptions of what you're actually feeding your dog. Same way with like food for people, right? They do all these little tricks where they say it's something, but it's not really something. It just has to have a certain percentage of something in order to say that it is. Like organic can be, as long as it's a percentage of something organic, you can call it organic, but it's not really organic.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's these games that companies play in order to skirt around regulations of things. So something to be called beef flavored, right?
But all that stuff is so delicious, though.
It is. Like most people should be eating straight like a carnivore diet, but carbs are fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I love carbs. I can't live without them. I like my bagels. I like my bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. Me personally, that's why I've been feeding my dog homemade dog food. And I know what people think it's expensive. It really isn't if you do it the right way. Like a lot of the things you have to do is get non-salted items, right? Like dogs can't process that much sodium, so you have to get things that are non-salt added. So for me, I get like the green beans, right? Kidney beans. Then I get some sardines and water so they can get their omega-3s. Then you get chicken gizzards, livers, and then ground beef, right? And then get non-salt added beef broth. You put it in a big fucking container, boil that shit up, throw in some brown rice and some sweet potatoes in it with it, and that is like your perfect balanced meal for your dog. And it's super cheap.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like the canned stuff is
ground
really
beef raw.
Yeah, and like you cook it all up. You still boil it. You don't need to like brown it or anything like that. You put it all in this one pot and you let it boil in the beef broth and all the other juices. So like when you get the chicken livers and whatever, just pour the whole fucking thing in there. All the blood, all the other stuff, just all of it, and it goes in there. Same thing with the can of beans and the green beans. Just throw all that shit in there.
I might have to try that.
It's actually really good.
I already lost my cat. I don't want to lose my dogs because some stinking ass dog food that I buy them.
Right, and so like even if you get like the most expensive natural dog food brand, like Origin, I think is one of them that was listed on there. It's like $90 for a fucking 28-pound bag, right? Like most people can't afford that for the good stuff because it's one of the ones that was apparently that company started in Canada, but they moved.
Definitely, we're not eating that shit.
Yeah, so it started in Canada, but then they moved to the U.S. in order to get around Canadians' regulatory body for lesser dog food. But like anytime you get a bigger corporation owning stuff, like their quality of food is always going to go down. But anyway, kibble's shit anyway for your dog. Like my dog's coat, brilliant, right? Like I got him from the pound. He was sickly, had an infection and everything like that. Got him fixed up and then started feeding him the homemade food. Much better. Gained weight like awesome. Like it's great. So that I would definitely suggest it.
Yeah, my dogs are healthy. Like my husky, her coat's the hardest one to manage, but
yep,
you know, she's beautiful. She's healthy. My Chihuahua is really healthy. So I don't know. Maybe I might look into making food.
You should try it though. Like there's tons of recipes out there for dog food, like homemade dog food. Like there's influencers out there that specifically do dog nutrition. If you didn't know, like I didn't know that until I started going down the rabbit hole and watching some of these videos, and they have got some great information when it comes to dog food.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I know it might be a boring subject for some, but I thought it was interesting, and my ADHD feeds my dopamine, so there you go.
And you may have taught somebody something. There's a lot of people out there that probably didn't know that.
Beware of what you're feeding your dogs because it's probably killing them. Sorry.
Slowly.
Just like everything in this world, every food is killing you slowly by some metric. But yeah, speaking of making a killing. Sorry, that's right.
Oh shit.
Or speaking of Michael being hammered, let's go with Paul Pelosi. That's the thing we can start on. So the video came out. Yeah, the video is fucking weird, dude. It makes me have so many questions of what it is. But yeah, so like CNN had an article just recently talking about the attacker trafficking conspiracy theories to call the TV station after video release. It's weird.
I was so confused when I saw that video. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right. I've actually got it pulled up. I'll go ahead and play it for everybody so we can all watch this weirdness together. Make sure the audio
viewer discretion
is advised.
Okay?
Yeah, so this is
make sure if you got kids around, don't let them see it. There's no nudity, but just, viewer discretion is advised.
Definitely. So here we go. We'll go ahead and start it.
I definitely don't want all of you. Hello.
So he's going up to the door. And this is the part that really is weird, too, is when they open the door.
That was weird. They were there in their underwear and shit.
Mm-hmm.
2620, right?
Because, like, he knocks, and they're waiting for him to show up. But when, like, he actually shows up and they open the door, it's like, who opened the door? Because the door opened, like, almost like Poltergeist, right? It just, like,
was it Paul?
I don't know.
Paul
That's the problem.
It.
But he's got one hand. No, because here's the thing. He's got one hand on the hammer, and he's got a drink in the other hand. Who opened the fucking door? Anyway, so continuing. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
So creepy.
Hey.
Yeah.
What is going on right now?
Drop the hammer and he goes at him.
Oh, shit.
And see, like, we don't actually see him hit Paul Pelosi.
Well, they blotted that out. Did he actually hit him?
No, I don't know.
I heard him snoring. Was he like? You can listen. He's snoring.
I'll stop it there because like we don't need to hear the rest of that unless you want to hear Paul Pelosi go into arrest, basically. So like that snoring is his airways being closed off, right? Like that's, as in a former ENT myself, I know what that noise is that his airways are being closed and he's got an obstruction now and he can't fucking breathe properly. But the problem is with me is like, yes, that could be caused by the blunt force trauma to the head from the hammer. But there's also a step there because like when you see the cops go, they all fall forward onto fucking Pelosi at the same time. So yeah, he could have been hit with that hammer, but then it also could have been 3 heavy ass motherfuckers landing on top of his head. And that's why his airways obstructed. But yeah, like he's definitely has trauma. There's no doubt that he was injured in that situation because like I can hear it. I know what that sound is. I know that's not good. He's fucked up, right? And he's gonna need
such
EMTs.
A bizarre video though, man. Like,
right? It's like why the 911 call is even weirder. If you haven't heard that one yet, it's like it lends to the credibility of him not knowing who he is. But I think Paul was just really fucked up that night. Like he was drunk alone in his house. But the thing is like he called San Francisco PD, right? And he was asking, hey, where's the Capitol Police that's usually here? It was one of the things that he asked. It's like, this is the and she's like, this is the San Francisco Police. It's like, but where's the Capitol Police that's usually guarding my wife, Nancy Pelosi? He said it like that too. It's like Nancy Pelosi. Like, not everybody knows who Nancy Pelosi is, guy. I'm sorry. Like, not everybody knows who your wife is.
Everybody cares.
Yeah. So it's just one of those really weird situations. And I don't know like how that happened in the first place. Like, there's no security, there's no alarms, there's none of that stuff. He was just by himself, and this dude comes out of fucking nowhere. I don't know. It's weird. It leads to way too many more questions of what the fuck was happening in that house before they got there. Because like, why didn't he go out to the cops? It was one of the other things that I didn't understand. Right. Is he could have just walked right out to them. Wouldn't have been that simple. Would have been that easy. But I guess like if you're super fucking fucked up, you don't remember shit sometimes. I'll give him that. So, what do you think?
It was entertaining. You know, people were posting it. People were posting it on IG and Facebook, and they were getting fucking strikes for posting that video. I posted it, and then somebody wrote me. They was like, "Hey, man, I posted that video, and I got a strike, so I took it down."
Yeah, I actually got a strike recently on my TikTok. Not a strike, but they took one of my videos down. It was for my COVID vaccine video that I had up, which was saying that it loses efficacy. And even though we know that's fucking true, and it was articles that I was reading directly from the websites, they still fucking took it down for misinformation or harmful information policy. It's like, dude, like, where have you been with the whole COVID information? All of this stuff is known that the shot doesn't actually fucking do what it's supposed to do, and it loses its effects. Like, we all know this is true.
We need to go back when TikTok was cool, man. I remember when I first joined TikTok, we didn't have all this shit. TikTok didn't care.
In the beginning, like, they had, like, nude videos and everything. Like, yeah, shit was a Wild West. I saw.
But now you got a bunch of clowns on there that mass report everything that they don't agree with, so.
Yeah, that's just leftists for you, though. Like, they report everything if it doesn't agree with them.
Well, conservatives, too. Leftists, so-called conservatives.
I don't know, man. People are just thin-skinned. A lot of it.
Like, we just need to freaking go to Rome and throw us in the Colosseum and just let us all fucking duke it out. Let us all go at it, man. Last man standing.
That would actually be really cool if somebody took up that project to make a Coliseum in the U.S., like a legit Coliseum, like marble stone and everything, just giant stone structure. We're bringing back the Coliseum. We'll do events there. We'll do concerts. We'll do all this cool shit. That'd be awesome. Like, you imagine doing
beat the living snot out of each other.
Yeah. I would actually like to see a naval battle, like an old school, like wooden boat naval battle, like they did back in the Coliseum days. Like they would actually flood that shit.
That's crazy.
God,
fill it up with water.
Could you imagine seeing that shit? Like how crazy that must have been. Like even for today's standards, that would still be fucking legitimately crazy. I think. Have you seen those dudes that do chariot motorcycles?
Mm-hmm.
That shit's insane too. Like that's what we need. Chariot races in the Coliseum again with motorcycles and fucking monster trucks.
I'm down.
That'd be the fucking bomb. Oh. Moving on to other bombs. We got to talk about the protest of the Cop City, the one that got killed and shot and killed. Like they're still having. No, not Tyre. This is a different dude. So like I originally thought that this was related. It isn't. Totally different story. Two different stories. I thought they were connected together, but they're not. But what it is this dude allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, shot at the cops. Cops shot back. Right? Like I get it. These dudes have been charged with domestic terrorism. They've been obstructing them putting in this police training center there in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
That one
in Atlanta.
And I have issues with that. Is the fact that they will call right-wing people domestic terrorists, but then they'll call these people protesters. They are protesters. Mm-hmm. They're protesting because lighting people's houses on fire, firebombing cop cars and shooting at them is not domestic terror. It is protesting. And that's the thing that annoys me.
Well, they arrested a bunch of them, and they
did,
were
and they charged with domestic terror because in Georgia, if you were trying to use force or violence to coerce government officials to change policy, that is considered terrorism. And that is the right definition of what it is. If you have political ends and use violence to achieve them, that is terrorism. That is political terrorism.
They all look like they stunk.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do. They've been living in fucking trees.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as bad as it was back in the, what was it, the...
70s?
Yeah, the 60s. Yeah, 60s, 70s, where they're actually bombing like the Greenpeace, like not the Greenpeace people. Who were they? The Weather Underground. That's what it was. Weather Underground was bombing places and shit like that. It could be much worse, but it's still that same ideology of these people wanting to use terror in order to do that. But they've got the mainstream media backing them up, saying that they're not terrorists, which is insane to me. Why would you defend people that are doing much worse than what happened on January 6th? And I will say that January 6th was bad in its own right, but it was nowhere near as damaging as what they've been doing in Georgia and other places, and the billions of dollars that they've done. The only thing they haven't done that would get them on the list is attacking Nancy Pelosi's office.
Well, the same people that they're calling, the insurrectionists are the same people that are doing this shit in Atlanta. Those weren't patriots, man. Those were infiltrators from Antifa,
like Mike Epps
leftists,
and whatever that dude was.
They were doing all that stuff. That was them totally.
Yeah.
So,
but I will say this: like
these motherfuckers.
The last episode we talked about. That I said that like the right needs to stop defending bad cops, and I will repeat that again. We do. Like I still think that cops are necessary for safety and security. We need police officers in order to protect neighborhoods and especially people that need that help. They serve a purpose. But the problem is, as I've said this before, is that they do not have adequate training to deal with the situations that they're doing. Because I remember like we were talking about earlier with the military is our rules of engagement were much more stringent and strict in Afghanistan and Iraq than most people are willing to admit that got people killed. If we had the same rules of engagement in Afghanistan and Iraq, there would be a lot more bodies, I will assure you, because like all the things that we had to do in order to just be able to shoot somebody was insane. Like dude could be literally shooting at us for 40 minutes straight, right? Walk around, drop his AK and go, I don't know what fucking happened. I wasn't doing it. And you saw the guy had it. He was shooting at you and he dropped it, but you can't fucking shoot him now. Because, like, he dropped his weapon. He's now a non-combatant. Even though 5 minutes later, he's going to go down the road and plant a fucking IED for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
That sneeze, man.
I know. It's the whole qualified immunity.
Yeah. Qualified immunity is bad.
Yeah.
It protects way too many. It does. And did you see the video with Tyre Nichols? That's right. I was trying to remember his last name. Tyre Nichols. It was fucking bad. Like, it was worse than like they had seen with Rodney King. It was fucking bad. Like, real bad. I'm not gonna lie. And
Yeah, I saw it.
It was insane, dude. Like, really insane.
What was insane about it was, somebody's life was taken from him.
Yeah.
Well, not at that moment. He was still alive.
A lot of people are pointing out that it looked fucking personal.
But the fact of the matter is that they were pretty much, I'm not saying they were doing it, but it seemed like they were high-fiving and kind of praising the fact that they did this to this kid. And actually, there's a lot of police officers coming out talking about it, which is good.
It was really bad because, like, okay, so I want to bring this back to the military aspect, what we're talking about, ROEs and things you do. If we had done what these cops had done to a prisoner of war, we would be in Leavenworth right now for war crimes. That is a war crime to beat a detained prisoner in the open like that, especially to death. You're going to fucking jail. There's no doubt about it.
And the fact is, it was 5-on-1.
Yeah. He was already handcuffed too.
What would the cops do if 5 of us were beaten on one person? What would happen to us?
Yeah. We'd get shot. That's what it would happen.
We'd go to jail, obviously, and we'd get beat up. We'd get thrown in a hoosegow.
Yeah.
But it takes 5 pretty stout dudes pouncing on one guy that they probably all outweighed. They were bigger than him.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't take much for one of the cops to say, hey, stop. Let's just put him in cuffs and get him out of here.
The stupid and funny thing at the same time about this whole situation, right, is the fact that you've got people on CNN and like MSNBC saying that this is all because of internalized white supremacy, because these were all black cops. And that just annoys me because it's not about race in this particular guard. It's about shitty fucking people. This could have been white cops. It could have been Asian cops. It could have been Mexican cops. It doesn't fucking matter. If you did that shit to somebody and you killed them, you're a murderer. That's why they're getting arrested and they're going to jail. And this is the point I don't understand, is that there are people rioting right this weekend that are wanting what? What are you wanting? They already got arrested. They were taken care of. They weren't even protected. They weren't even hidden. The city did the right thing, and they got these guys out of the department and in jail, right? So what are you doing? Why are you destroying people's livelihoods in the streets and destroying buildings when you already got what you wanted? That's something I don't understand. Like, why are you hurting other people because of it?
It's just always a reason to fucking protest and burn shit down. And they're all these Adderall kids, they're out there just releasing all their anger and, getting free shit. And it just gives them a reason to be pissed off.
The problem is this is nothing like George Floyd, right? Like, we can see this was maliciously intended to beat this dude, right? We can see that. These are bad cops. There's no denying it. They were bad cops. They did something, like you said, if we did that in the service and we were overseas, we would get arrested for war crimes, right? That's how bad the situation is. Like, even if he was resisting and all that stuff, you still had him cuffed and you beat him to death.
And it's not even just overseas in war crimes, just out here in your neighborhood or outside at a bar, if five dudes
roped some dude up and started beating him to death, you would be going to jail.
You'd be going to jail real fast.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I can get where you're saying. I think it was malicious, and it's that gang mentality kind of like, once it starts and everyone's in, you can't stop that.
Yeah. And
because it's a chemical in the brain that just
It's that mob mentality. That's the same thing that happens.
That mob
but
mentality.
The problem is, like, I want to talk to the left directly about this before we go, is that, look, when stuff like this happens, especially with like the solidarity we had with George Floyd and then now we're having with Tyre here, is that you had us on your side, but then when you start rioting, you start causing destruction, you make it where the moment is about that instead of what happened. You have to stick to what happened in order for people to understand. If you want people on the right, like myself and Michael, to be on your side, you have to show us that this is an important issue, but you don't need to riot to make it happen. Peaceful protest is what Martin Luther King wanted for us to do. The way you get things across is by communicating and not destroying and creating together. That's the problem. You are missing the point of creating together, and the more you alienate, the less likely it is for them to be on your side and to convince them to help you. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, because the only thing we're seeing is them rioting. We don't care. At that moment, we're like, well, I don't care what they're doing it for, but they're burning down this, they're burning down their own neighborhood, they're burning these cops, they're doing this, they're doing that. So, that one, Memphis, it was in Memphis. So,
yeah, it was Memphis. I don't remember if it was Tennessee or if it was on the Arkansas line, or which Tennessee it was. Like, it's too many Tennessees. I mean, not Tennessee's, Memphis. Yeah,
they're going to get what they deserve, man, and they deserve whatever they get.
Like I said, I'm with them on this. This is one of those cases. Like, I think that there definitely needs to be some sort of reform in police departments across the United States. And the big problem that I see with this is that these cops are getting military gear without military bearing. And that is the problem, is that they have all of this authority and responsibility with overpowered gear, I would say, for what they're supposed to be doing, but they don't have the adequate training to go along with it. And that's the biggest issue.
That is right. And we don't want anybody out there watching this thinking that we're anti-police, because we're not. But we call a spade a spade. A right is a right and a wrong is a wrong. I'm not just I
try to be honest with what I believe.
Yeah, be honest, man. The shit was wrong, period. So all my law enforcement friends out there, and I have a lot of you guys, it is what it is. A wrong is a wrong. And a lot more law enforcement officers need to get out there and voice their opinion about it and show people like, hey.
And that's the thing. If we had more police officers and agencies voicing, hey, we need more funding for better training, we need better mental health and counseling and things like this, like that would make this go much better. It's like, if I know the left's idea is defunding, I don't want to defund the police. I want them to be better. That's all I want. Is like, I get these situations are tough. Like, we've been in tough situations too, but you can't have ROEs that are more lax than what we had overseas when we were trying to fight wars for the last 20 years. Right. That's all I'm saying.
And I can speak for the little town I live in. Like, the cops here are pretty good, man.
Yeah.
They don't fuck with people.
I'm talking about city cops. Little town cops are fine. They
don't really mess with people. Yeah. They don't mess with you. They're very respectful. They don't try to come at you like some authoritarian figure and talk at you like you're stupid. They listen, and they're very, very respectful. And that's big ups to like whoever the chief is. Yeah. Whoever the chain of command is, they're the ones telling these guys like, hey, this is not us. We're not going to act like that.
Right.
We're not going to be like Austin PD.
Yeah.
We're going to be our small town PD.
So there is a difference. When I talk about these cops, I'm talking about the big cities. I mean, major metropolitan areas that's got like 1 million plus people. Your sheriff's department, your local cops in your small cities, they're probably not going to be an issue. There might be one or two that are an issue, but we're talking about the larger departments that need more because they have more people that they have to police. I get that. And that's all I want to advocate for, is that working together with these activists in order to get the things that they need in order to succeed. That's what we really want. Anyway, that'll be it for the...
And one thing about policing before we get off, I think policing needs to get back all the way down to like the neighborhood level.
Yeah, community policing, but in a better
community
light.
Policing. So in my neighborhood, in my subdivision, it should always be whatever shift they're on is always the same officers, always.
Yeah.
And then they need to go around and start knocking on doors, introducing themselves. I'm officer this, I'm officer this. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Hey, if there's any issues, here's my card. Call me directly. And, that's community policing.
Yeah.
So now they know everyone within that community, or not everyone, but they know the majority of people. They ask about you. They go and hang out at your barbecues. I mean, they're just doing what cops are, should do.
Like having sectors for individual police officers.
Yeah. Sectors for all of them.
I agree with that. That's actually a good solution. Go back to the community policing.
Community policing. That's how you fix a lot of these issues. That's how you get rid of these trust issues with police. Because if the police knew somebody that lived in that house and they know them already, they can de-escalate most situations.
Yeah, if you know your buddy Mike down the road, like it's going to be a little different. So
you'd be like, oh, I know Michael Harris. He lives right here. Let me go talk to him. I know him.
Yeah.
And then they come and talk to you, de-escalate, and then they listen more because they know you. But now you just get random cops and they show up and they knock on your door and then they coming in all amped up and you're amped up. And then it's just two people, grown ass men, amped up, ready to throw blows with each other. So the shit doesn't de-escalate. That's why if you have community policing,
maybe doing rotations and getting more time off for these officers so they can decompress, just like deployments, right? You can't go straight every day into the shit and then expect these guys to come out with intact brains. That's all I'm saying. You got to treat it like a deployment. Give them some time off. Give them 6 months, whatever. Do 6 month rotations with people. Like you're on that for 6 months, you're off for 6 months kind of situation. Keep them fresh.
That's right. I believe that.
So, all right. I guess we're already run longer than we usually do, so I'll go ahead and call it off here today. Want to thank you guys for coming on. Follow us on everywhere. You can watch us on Spotify, YouTube, Rumble. All the places you want. You can listen to us on all the other things too.
And we post clips on TikTok and our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So just, if you're on Facebook, look for the Hooch Podcast. We have an actual page. Yep. And we're moving up and follow. So like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, man. We need those subs.
Yeah, especially Rumble too. Like we need those on there Rumble. Too.
We need to get monetized, and with the help of the people that have been following us for years, man, we're not asking for money. Like and sub. Go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. And
always share as well.
And share. Always share.
Always share. Anyway,
we're just two vets trying to share information with you guys.
I was trying to cut Michael off too soon. Getting off, man. My kid's getting upset. He's been locked in a room for too long.
No, you're good. You're good.
Anyway, we love you, America. We'll see you guys next time. And
we're
out.
Damn it.
One of these days we'll get it right.
One of these days we're going to get it.